Welcome to GatorsZone.com. I'm Chris Harry alongside Scott Carter. We're in the swamp where the Florida Gators had their second preseason scrimmage of the season. And Scott, the thing that jumped out at me was this was a day for the offense. Jeff Driscoll and some of those receivers looked really, really good out there today.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a huge focus in camp. And, usually at this stage, a lot of the time, the defense will still be ahead of the offense early in camp. Will Muschamp's talked about that. But today, you did see the offense kind of show some signs that they're making progress there. I think they maybe had the upper hand today. Like you said, Jeff Driscoll looked really good throwing the ball. As good as we've seen him in camp, and he had touchdown passes to several guys. Ahmad Fullwood caught a long touchdown.
97-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Chris Thompson had a nice catch. It was a really good day for the offense. I'm going to imagine that Kurt Roper is probably in a good mood after this one.
Yeah, Valdez Showers had one falling backwards down the middle of the field. You had Brandon Powell on the wheel route for that touchdown. I tell you what, it was just good to see some elements of verticality as Kurt Roper's offense showed a little bit of everything today, I think. Now, what about some of these guys that we saw that may have been banged up a little bit who kind of got out here? You saw Vernon Hargraves out there, and aren't some other guys also making a comeback here?
Yeah, the good news is that, they had some injuries here in camp, as is the case usually. But they got a lot of those guys back. We saw Duke Dawson back out here today. Alex Anzalone was out here. You mentioned Hargraves, Dante Fowler. So a lot of guys, they were the bumps and bruises that you get through camp. Nothing serious, but to get them back out here as they still have, it's midway camp. They still have, 2 weeks from Saturday, believe it or not, is the season opener. So it's creeping up on us, but I'm sure they were glad to be able to work some things and with those players in, get some different looks, having most of their players out there.
There's still some position battles out there, especially on defense and specifically in the secondary. DJ Durkin mentioned that still some guys are trying to fight for some of those spots back there.
Yeah, I mean, Durkin talked yesterday about how really this last portion of camp, a large part of the job for the defense is to kind of sort that secondary out. I mean, obviously Vernon Hargraves, the third, he's going to be in there. Brian Poole has been mentioned a lot at the other corner, but you got a lot of guys who don't have any experience but have a lot of talent. Jalen Tabor, Marcus Mays back there, veteran. Jabari Gorman's another veteran, but newcomers like J.C. Jackson. So just a lot of bodies, a lot of guys back there. Marcel Harris at safety. A lot of guys we haven't seen, but Nick Washington that's getting a look. So it's going to be interesting to see how that does shake out.
We are 2 weeks into preseason training camp and 2 weeks out to that season opener against Idaho. There's Fan Day tomorrow, Saturday, from 3 to 6 in the O'Connell Center. Come out and get autographs of the Florida football team and the Florida volleyball team, which will be scrimmaging. Scott Carter will be there. Chris Harry will be there. Come out and see us. Thank you for watching GatorsZone.